Hello and welcome to the third part of the Power Platform Security series. Today we will have a look at conditional access. If you've never heard that term, well, here's a short and small graphic for you. So conditional access is a feature of Microsoft Entra, and it provides an extra layer of security that can control access to a Power App. So how does it work? Well, on the left hand side you see different kind of signals such as user risk, the location where a user signs in from, network, application and data a user wants to access. And based on these signals, there are some policies set up that define whether the user can have access to it, whether some additional information will be required so that he can get access, or whether he's blocked or restricted for the access to this application, for example. Now, the good news is we have this available for Power Apps, especially for Canvas apps. I will talk a bit later about model-driven apps, but let's stay here first and see how the process works. And it's basically a simple step, a three-step process. First, we set up this conditional access policy. So here's a screenshot, but we will have a look at this in a second. Then we will set up what is called authentication context. That's something you can find also in the setup here. It's basically just a link to the conditional access policy. And then once we have that, we can run a PowerShell script. And the PowerShell script is basically linking this conditional access policy with your Power App. Okay, but rather than talking, let's have a look at my demo system and check it out. Okay, so I start here in Microsoft Learn with this article about the conditional access policy for apps. So you can just go through that and just see how it works. But let's go directly to Azure. And what I have here is the conditional access policies. I have a couple of them. Only one that I use here is turned on. And let's have a look at how it looks like. So you just set it up in a way that you say, okay, in this case, I want to keep it simple and say, I just do not want to allow guest users. Well, how did I do that? Well, you see here, I said, okay, all kind of users, no matter how they collaborate, which are external users, guest users, they are kind of blocked. So here's the block access. Because I do not want to have them. You can grant access, and require additional conditions. For example, that they use multi-factor authentication or something else. That's something you can configure, but that's really up to you. And of course, here you see a lot of additional functionalities. So you can define what kind of networks you're using, what kind of conditions, what kind of user risk defines whether a user can sign in or not, what kind of insider risk, what kind of platforms, for example, are you allowed to log in from a mobile platform, from a non-Windows device? Are you allowed to log in from a different country or region? All of that can be defined here. But the key here to make it work is this authentication context. And you see I have this one enabled. What is that? Well, very easy. If you're here in conditional access policies, then you have here this context. And then you just say, okay, I have here one Ludwig for guest access. And the important thing is you need this ID here, because that's later something you will need to provide this conditional access or to block the users. Okay, and with this access, I created a Power App. So here is my first app. It's a Canvas app. You see that here. So and if I play that, then you see, okay, it's something. If I can refresh that, there's not a change. Then you see something that is going on in this app. So very easy. And now we want to apply conditional access for this app. And to do that and to demonstrate you that, I shared it. I shared the app, and you can see that here. I shared it from my demo tenant with Ludwig Reinhardt. This is a Microsoft tenant user. These ones are users or owners that are existing in my demo tenant. And I want to show you how this guest user can access the app. So I shared the app. Let's go to my mailbox. You see here, I can open it, and to make it very sure, I say open this in a private window, so that I really have to log in and that I cannot cheat with anything. So I log in here with Ludwig. Then we have here my password, and of course I have multi-factor authentication set up and need to approve that. 1 second please. And my PIN. Okay, looks good. So I say I want to stay signed in, and then I should be able to see this application because there's no restriction. I did not enable this conditional policy. Now let's change it. And what I want to do next is I want to run here PowerShell. I run this as administrator. And what I'm doing next is I run this code that you saw. So I prepare that so that I do not have to type it. I set the conditional access policy for my app basically. So let's paste this, then hit enter. Now it asks me to log in, because now I'm basically the administrator on my demo tenant, and I have to say, okay, I want to have this conditional access for this app, and now it is done, it is available. So with this in place, let's try again to log into this application, again in an private window, and now we just do the same. So I log in here with Ludwig, enter my password, and again I guess I have to do this multi-factor authentication. So let me type that. Okay, I say stay signed in, and now it tries to open it, but now it says, hey, sign in, but actually I just signed in, and it says now I don't have access. So you see how this conditional access policy can prevent users from logging in, and this does not have to be a guest user. It can be dependent on your location, on some other kind of risks that are related to this user, maybe on some password breach that was identified or something else. That's the one thing. The other thing that I want to share is if you are here in this conditional access policy, then you have here sign-in logs. They always take a while until they are updated, but from there you can really see what is going on and what kind of policies hit in if somebody tries to log in. So let's wait until this is kind of refreshed here, and then we can have a short look how it works and what you can actually see from this site here. And of course, we should be able to see. Let's choose this one because I did it a bit before. Let's see here, and then conditional access. So it says it requires multi-factor authentication, and then this guest access, it was failed. So it was basically blocked. I was blocked to log in, and you can always follow up who tried to log in and from where, from which IP address, and so on. So that's a great insight how this works. Now, after this first test with the Canvas app, I tried the same with a model-driven app. So here's my model-driven app. We can just play it. Again, I gave my user Ludwig from the Microsoft tenant access to this. I just shared it basically with the guest user, and then he should see something like that. So let's quickly verify that. So I'm here in this app. I click on the details, and then I just try to open this one in my environment, and then if there's no mistake, it should open. Why is that? Well, of course, we did not set any conditional access policy for this kind of app. And if you want to do it, I tried to do that with this PowerShell script, but well, let's see I just configure this and change the app ID. And if we run it, you will see that this is not going to work. We will see an error message. Yeah, why? Because this kind of configuration is not supported for model-driven apps yet. Okay, but if we have model-driven apps, if we want to prevent that users, let's say guest users, access it, isn't there something else? And the answer is, of course, yes. And this other thing comes here in the Power Platform Admin Center with the access control. I have here something, guest access. This is my environment. And now if I toggle this on and save it, then let's try again if we can open this app. So I just refresh it. And you see, now we are restricted from that. It's a kind of conditional access policy that we have available here, especially for guest users for model-driven apps. It does not allow all of the nitty-gritty things that you can do with conditional access policies in Azure. But at least it helps you controlling who can get access to this. And if you want to block guest users, then just use this out-of-the-box feature, because it does not require anything apart from toggling this on or off. And now let me switch it back so that I don't have a problem with my app later on. Okay, that's it, what I wanted to share with you. Let's go back to my PowerPoint to share some additional and closing remarks. Okie dokie, after this short demo, here's some closing remarks. So first, conditional access policies, they're quite easy to set up, even if you have to go to Entra or Azure. And what you can do is, of course, depending on a signal, which can be, for example, a user, a group, IP location, device, application, a real-time risk that is identified, you can make a decision, for example, block or allow the access depending on some other conditions, and then enforce who can have access to this. For model-driven apps, these conditional access policies don't work the same way, but don't forget the guest access control that I just showed you in the new Power Platform Admin Center that helps you at least to block guest users out of the box. Okay, that's it. As usual, thank you very much for watching and listening, and then till next time.